The restaurant was glowing that night. Soft jazz, clinking glasses, the quiet hum of business talk. At the corner table sat a group of executives, their laughter just a bit too loud, their confidence filling the room like smoke. Among them was Richard Hale, a CEO known for his money, his ego, and his cruel sense of humor. Across from him stood a young waitress named Elise. She was polite, steady, her accent faint but noticeable. She carried herself with quiet grace, though her uniform had seen better days. Richard smirked as she poured his wine. "Tell me," he said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "where are you from? France? Or some small village that tries to sound like it?" The table erupted in laughter. Elise froze, the bottle still in her hand. Her cheeks flushed, but she didn't say a word. She simply nodded and moved to the next guest. Something about her calm bothered Richard. He wanted to break that calm. "I'll tell you what," he said, leaning back in his chair, voice dripping with arrogance. "If you can say one full sentence in French correctly, I'll give you $5,000 right now." The table went silent for a second, then filled with snickers. Everyone waited for her to stutter, to blush, to prove him right. But Elise didn't hesitate. She placed the bottle down, turned to him and spoke, clearly, fluently, beautifully. "Monsieur, je parle six langues, dont le français. Mais l'amabilité en fait malheureusement pas partie ce soir." "Sir, I speak 6 languages, including French, but kindness doesn't seem to be one of them tonight." The laughter died instantly. The other executives looked at one another, unsure whether to breathe or applaud. Richard's face went pale. He tried to laugh it off, but it came out shaky. She gave a small, polite smile and walked away. "If the story moves you, keep watching. It only gets deeper." As the night went on, the mood around that table shifted. The men spoke quieter. The women avoided Richard's gaze. Elise continued working with quiet confidence, her movements steady, graceful. The kind that comes from someone who's learned to carry dignity through every wound. An hour later, as the dinner wrapped up, one of the executives, a woman named Clara, stopped Elise by the counter. "That was brave," she whispered. "Not many people would have stood their ground like that." Elise just smiled. "It's not bravery," she said softly. "It's self-respect." Richard overheard her. Something in her words hit him harder than the laughter had. He looked down at the untouched glass of wine before him. For the first time that night, he saw himself, not as a leader, but as a man who'd forgotten what decency looked like. Later, as the group prepared to leave, Richard walked over to Elise. He handed her an envelope. "I owe you something," he said quietly, "and not for the French." Inside was not $5,000, but 10, along with a short note, "For reminding me that intelligence has no uniform." She looked at him, surprised. He nodded once, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud." But in that moment, something shifted. "Before you go, wait till you hear what happens next. It will stay with you." A few weeks later, Elise received a call. Clara, the executive who had quietly admired her that night, offered her a position as a language consultant for the company's international division. It turned out the restaurant wasn't her only job. Elise had been tutoring children in the evenings, saving money for graduate school. Now, she wouldn't need to. The first time she walked into the company boardroom, Richard was there. He stood as she entered. This time, the entire room noticed. Not her accent, not her uniform, but her presence. When the meeting ended, he stopped her by the door. "Welcome aboard, Miss Moreau," he said respectfully. Elise smiled. "Merci, Monsieur Hale." It was the same language, but spoken with a different tone. One that carried respect instead of pride. That night, Elise sat by her apartment window, city lights flickering below. She thought of how close she'd come to staying silent, to letting his words define her. But she didn't. She had chosen dignity over anger, calm over humiliation. Sometimes, life gives us moments where silence feels easier, but the truth spoken with grace can change everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom, where we bring real stories of kindness, courage, and second chances.